Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something called allostasis. It's about how your body actively adapts, to keep things balanced.
Yeah.
Sort of like an internal strategist.
Exactly. It's a really dynamic process. We've got some material that looks at how it's different from, well, basic stability, homeostasis, and how we actually gear up for challenges before they happen.
Ah, okay. And what happens when that system is, like, under constant pressure? There's this thing called allostatic load.
That's right. We'll definitely cover that. So allostasis, fundamentally, it's about achieving stability through change. It's the body's way of maintaining equilibrium when faced with stressors.
Okay, so it's different from homeostasis, which is more about keeping everything rigidly the same inside.
Pretty much. Homeostasis aims for that steady internal state almost regardless of what's happening outside. Allostasis, though, it's proactive. It anticipates needs.
Anticipate. So it's not just reacting, it's actually forecasting. How does that work? Can you give an example?
Sure. So your body uses cues, right? From the environment, from past experiences, to sort of predict what might be coming. Think about maybe someone who exercises every single morning.
Oh.
As they start getting ready, maybe just getting their gear together, their heart rate might subtly increase before they even start moving.
Ah, I see. So the body's already preparing for the exertion.
Exactly. It's getting ahead of the game. That's allostasis right there. Perfect example.
That's really interesting. Okay, so this constant adapting, this proactive balancing act that leads to this allostatic load idea.
Precisely. Yeah, allostatic load is basically the cumulative effect, the wear and tear, you could say. It builds up on the body and brain from all this ongoing adaptive activity, especially when the systems doing the adapting are, chronically overworked or maybe not working efficiently.
And we can actually measure this wear and tear.
Yeah, we can observe it through various physiological markers, things like stress hormones, blood pressure, metabolic changes.
So what happens when the system is pushed too hard for too long, like with chronic stress?
Well, that's where the problems can start. When you're dealing with prolonged or repeated stress, it really taxes the allostatic system. Imagine constantly running those adaptive mechanisms at full tilt. It's exhausting for the body.
Right. And that leads to negative consequences.
It can, yeah. Over time, this chronic activation can contribute to various health issues. We're talking potential cardiovascular problems, metabolic imbalances, maybe even immune system effects.
But fundamentally, allostasis itself is good for us, right? It's supposed to help us adapt.
Mm.
How does it connect to overall health?
Oh, absolutely. Effective allostasis is crucial. It's vital for both mental and physical well-being. It lets us respond appropriately to challenges and then, crucially, recover efficiently afterward.
Okay, so a healthy response is like stress happens, body adapts, stress ends, body returns to baseline.
Exactly. That's adaptive allostasis. But problems arise with maladaptive responses, like maybe the stress response doesn't switch off properly when the stressor is gone, or the body fails to adapt effectively to ongoing demands. That's when it becomes harmful.
And it's not just about, like, huge life stressors, is it? Everyday things must matter, too.
Definitely. Lifestyle factors play a huge role. Think about sleep quality, your diet, regular exercise. These all significantly impact allostatic load. And socioeconomic factors, too. Things like access to resources, social support networks. They really influence how well our bodies cope and adapt.
That makes sense. And you mentioned mental well-being earlier. How does allostasis tie into mental health? Conditions like, say, depression or PTSD.
Yeah, there's a really strong connection emerging there. We're understanding more about how a dysregulated allostatic system is linked to mental health conditions. Chronic stress and the resulting allostatic overload, they seem to be a contributing factor in the development and maybe even the progression of illnesses like depression and PTSD.
So the body's ability to manage stress effectively is key for the mind, too.
Absolutely. Mind and body are deeply interconnected here.
So knowing all this about allostasis, are there ways we can, use this understanding practically?
Yes, definitely. This understanding is already informing approaches in clinical settings in therapy. The focus is often shifting towards identifying and addressing the factors that drive up that harmful allostatic load. It's about supporting the body's natural capacity to adapt and trying to mitigate the negative effects of chronic stress without necessarily needing, specific drug interventions sometimes, but focusing on lifestyle and environment.
Okay, so wrapping this up then, the big picture is that allostasis is this vital dynamic process for adapting to change. Super important.
Right. Essential for balance.
But chronic stress can really throw it off kilter. leading to allostatic load, which can impact both physical and mental health down the line.
Precisely put. It really highlights that constant, active balancing act our bodies are performing day in, day out.
This has been, well, really insightful. It makes you think differently about stress and adaptation. And considering how our bodies are actually trying to anticipate what's coming, it leaves us with a thought, doesn't it? What small, maybe mindful adjustments could you, the listener, make in your daily routine to better support your body's incredible ability to adapt and maintain that balance? Something to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.